What's the end goal of soulmate relationships such as you and your lovely wife, Khadijah? You are a androgynous being. Your soulmate is just the other piece of yourself. So when we came down here, because we came in the polarity of masculine and feminine, everyone has their counter side. But if you don't know who you are, how could you find the true side to you? So I was at a level,
Message.
until I was at a level of understanding at a basic level of who I was, there's no way I could find Khadijah because she is who I am. So in other words, if I like French fries, I'm gonna find a French fry hoe. If I like motorcycles, I'm gonna find a motorcycle hoe. But the trouble with those are usually phases of life that we go in, and most of us are trained to go through phase after phase after phase after phase. Now, so when you start doing knowledge, wisdom, and disconnecting, you start getting to the true self, the know thyself, the truly who you are, the honesty in yourself. You start relieving yourself of your human condition, your human trauma, your negativity, your abuse. And at a certain level, not all the way, you don't have to be 100% because that 100% is going to go over the line with your significant others. But when I met Khadijah, I knew I was seeing a true reflection of myself, and likewise with her. So therefore, it doesn't mean you're over yet because you're still holding on. You're still resorting to your own ego, your own defense mechanisms, your anger, and whatever we had going on. But you're in the best possible position to hear that reality and let things go. So ultimately, you're doing it to find out more about the nature of who and what you are in the plight of know thyself. And when you transcend, the androgynous aspect is actually the true marriage. Ultimately, we're all one mind, all of us. We're all having an experience of separation. So we're all one anyway. So know it on that level. How do you deal with thought forms and become clear audience? You deal with your thoughts. Thought forms are nothing but your own thoughts. So if you're not in control of your mind, understanding some basic principles, then you're not ready to do any of that. You're just still a victim. So if you don't understand the laws of Tahuti, if you don't understand principles in meditation, principles in mantras, principles and just read Michael Cunning, what is it, Michael whoever, How to Create Magical Entities. Read and study what thought forms are, your own natural negative thoughts. Understand what archons are. There's no one answer to that. That's the place you're in. The place you're in here is designed to play an emotional and mental games on you. The emotional is your feminine and the mental is your masculine side. These things are separated into a brain and a heart as polarity. But once you get control of your mind and your emotional system, then you're getting in control of the divine feminine and masculine in you to unify, mix them, and become balanced. And your thoughts must be in the control of you. Thought forms are your own thoughts. So what's a thought form? Depression is a thought form. But if you don't feel you're depressed or it has nothing to do with you, it means nothing to you. Ask that person who's always on the zip line, always hiking, always eating granola. How does depression, it doesn't necessarily mean they escaped it, but if we're talking about this generalized character, usually they're not worried about it or thinking about it because it hasn't entered their thoughts. It has to enter your thoughts to take formation. So you control your thought forms by getting in control of your own mind. The shadow work is an essential part of getting into our potential, our hidden selves, or becoming the most powerful true selves. Absolutely. It's always necessary. It will happen naturally. It happened. That's a good question, Argyle girl. She's asking, is the shadow work an essential part of getting to our potential? Absolutely, because it's the half of yourself that you do not see. That's why it's the shadow or the dark side. The dark and light are one thing in you. They're the polarity in you. The dark is the negative side or the feminine side, the hidden. The light is the masculine side. So that's why they have all of these deities of God as the man and the woman always in the background. This physical interpretation comes from a esoteric understanding of the feminine being the hidden. She's the hidden power. So the Muslim has the woman walk behind him, and the Egyptians have the woman behind them, because you think, and they made it physical that the bitch supposed to be in the back, but it's an esoteric concept that the woman actually is the dark side, like the Kalipov, that pushes your light forward. So that's why it seems like Mary Magdalene some punk for washing Jesus' feet with her hair, but that's an esoteric symbology for him sleeping and her activating him. You could read a book called Oracle of the Illuminati by William Henry, and it'll explain the importance, the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Jason and the Argonauts, the quest is really about the divine feminine, and the divine feminine, how it is actually the power base or the dark side. So what you know is what you know, and what you know in this place only amounts to the ego, or turns into the ego, because it has nowhere to go. It's missing until you tap into that dark side. Then you start to balance out your light side, and then you understand the ego for what it is, and you become that true being, not just the person, I like to save the babies, just that talking fake ass deep good person. I came to save black people, but it's really about your YouTube hits and how much shit they could get from your ass. But you really become that giving person, that person that gives in their own way, that undying person. You know what I'm saying? That person that has something to offer many. You could take, let's say, like Queen Afua, for example, that's done so much across the board for so many people. You know what I'm saying? Because she decided to talk about, in a quite frank way, vaginas, to where it wasn't an open conversation. Most black women at this time were just getting hysterectomies as the be all to cure all. And she started talking about the clay and cleaning it. And I believe she also, and others like her, looking in the mirror at your vagina, studying it. And you will find most women never even just observe their own vagina. You know what I'm saying? So that would be an example of shadow work. So it's not necessarily Baphomet pictures and dressing up. It's just looking into those places that we haven't looked in. You understand what I'm saying? For instance, Bobby Hemmett was the first to
popping bottles, wrist glistening. Sure, they try to tell me.
And because they flirted with it so much in church, but never, he said when he started talking about the Hindu race or the dark side. So what you know is what you know. And what you know in this place only amounts to the ego, or turns into the ego, because it has